Hello, my little baby pumpkins. Look at this beauty. Isn't she wonderful? Mesmerizing even. An exhausted planet, though. In 2050, there will be 10 billion of us, impacting our environment. But, dear viewers, ignoring our planetary boundaries is a risky move. How can we take better care of our planet, both as individuals and as an organization? Our commitment at Orange is to reach net zero carbon by 2040. That's 10 years ahead of the commitments made by the telco industry and the European Union to align with the Paris Agreement for climate change. I'm sorry, excuse me, what did you say? You don't know what net zero carbon is. Whoa, okay. Director, pause please. Okay, maybe you've heard about carbon neutrality, climate neutrality. Okay, it's actually the same notion as net zero or net zero carbon. According to the IPCC, a UN body assessing the science related to climate change, it's when the difference between carbon emitted and carbon offset equals zero. Suppose you're flying from Paris to Los Angeles for a meeting. You will be responsible for emitting 1.4 tons of CO2, which is huge. It equals 60 times the same distance trip by train. Or illuminating the Eiffel Tower 36 nights in a row. Crazy, right? You know what's crazier? 100 40-year-old trees are needed to absorb the emissions of your 9,000 kilometers in a commercial plane. The concept of carbon neutrality, however, is subject to different interpretations because it can be difficult to establish a clear boundary between what is the work of man and what is the work of nature. According to scientists, global carbon neutrality is about creating a balance between emitting and absorbing carbon emissions thanks to carbon sinks. I know you don't know what it is. I've got a definition for you. A carbon sink is basically anything that biologically or physiologically retains more carbon than it releases. A carbon sink keeps carbon from entering the atmosphere as CO2. This phenomenon can be natural, like using our 140-year-old trees to absorb the emissions of our Paris-LA flight, or the ocean. The problem is they have a maximum limit. That's why we also use artificial techniques, which capture CO2 from the air and store it deep underground. This helps a lot, but it does not solve the problem. That's why we must, first and foremost, change our production model and stop depending on fossil fuels by focusing on renewable energies. Let's go back to the aerospace industry, for instance. Their challenge will be to disrupt their operational model. Eco-designing planes using green fuel to take you to LA in a cleaner way to minimize their carbon emissions to the lowest level. Also, in some situations, digital provides a good alternative. For instance, instead of flying to LA for a 3-hour workshop, how about using a video conferencing system? It considerably reduces carbon emissions, something like 17,000 times less. Not to mention, it's much cheaper, you won't be jet lagged, you'll spend more time with your loved ones and... Okay, sorry, but you get me, right? Well, we're already doing that at Orange. Because Orange Business knows that planting trees without changing the system is a drop in the ocean. That's why we have a plan. And it's called the Green Act Program. First, we drive our own environmental transition by consuming more efficiently and transitioning to green energy, and by designing our products and services in a sustainable way. For example, we are turning our data centers and all our IT equipment into modern, low-carbon footprint facilities. And also, we work on redesigning our products and services to reduce all our carbon emissions. the direct ones that come from our own activities, and the indirect ones emitted by our providers and partners. Secondly, we work on providing environmental transition solutions. With our digital expertise, we help our customers reduce their own carbon footprint. And finally, with absorption, we will capture the remaining carbon emissions after optimizing all our processes. Thanks to Orange Nature, in 2021, Orange created a carbon fund to support projects protecting, maintaining, and restoring carbon sinks. As we've already started that journey, we are determined to reduce by 80 to 90% our gas emissions by 2040, with milestones to gradually reduce our emissions by 2025 and 2030. We are all part of the solution. And if you want to be responsible pumpkins, go and watch the other episodes. And of course, we will continue to do better for our planet and for you by creating a positive impact.
Orange Business.